Hello, St. John's and friends. I am the Reverend Mitra, and I am with you today for a small ritual of remembrance of the lives lost to this dreadful virus. As we are recording this, the number of lives lost to the United States is roughly equivalent to the population of Bowling Green, Kentucky, or Youngstown, Ohio, which is the 9th most populous city in the state of Ohio. It is essential, for the sake of our humanity, that we remember that each of those numbers, each of those statistics is a person who was loved, who gave love, who lived and laughed and mourned, and was an essential part of the fabric of humanity, and their loss matters. So we place this stone in recognition of those losses. I'm going to place 2 more stones in this bowl of sand. These represent the joys and sorrows of everyday life. These are the joys and sorrows that are not moved or affected by the events of this hour, by the events of history. They simply are part of living. For the birthdays, for the graduations, for the accomplishments, we place a stone of joy for all the gifts we have received. And for the ordinary sadness, for the loss of a pet, for the stress of every day, for that argument that you really wish you hadn't had, for all those things and more, we place a stone for the sorrows that are on our hearts. Before I light this flame, I want to share another word with you. This coming Monday will be the 50th anniversary of the massacre or the shootings at Kent State, which were followed just a little while later by shootings at Jackson State University in Mississippi. Being in Ohio, I know that many of you remember these events, many of you learned about them and hold them close to your own story. And I know that as time passes, we don't tell the story. We aren't honest with the story. Even if we tell the story of Kent State, even if we tell the story of Ohio, we sometimes forget to tell the story of Mississippi. We sometimes forget to tell the story of Jackson State. There is a through line here. There is something in our human nature that allows us to separate us from them, that allows us to vilify the other. And when we do that, it becomes easy for us to dismiss the value or the worth of their lives. The shootings would not have happened if the guardsmen had seen the people they were shooting at as their equals, as their kin. I do believe that our response to COVID-19 would be different if we treated every person who was vulnerable, every person who might be vulnerable, as our own kin and not as somebody else, not as some other person. So I'm going to light this lamp, and my prayer for this week is simply this: that all people, you who are listening, and all other people everywhere, may we remember and share in the common nature of our humanity, that we all have joys and we all have sorrows, and that within our human experience, there is enough potential and brilliance, there is enough capability for us to surpass these differences and come into a common harmony. We don't have to choose between us and them. We can celebrate the oneness and work for ways to be made whole. So may it be.